Hey, Mr. Bill here, and welcome to the Splice YouTube Creator Series Part 3. So in Part 1 we talked about resampling, which was like making a sound in a synth and then resampling it a bunch of times into like MIDI channels and into an audio channel and then dropping it into samplers and manipulating it a lot. And then in Part 2 we talked about dealing with those sounds that we made in like the context of a tune, so it actually has some sort of rhythmic and melodic structure to it. Part 3 here, we're going to talk about organization and sound design sessions versus arrangement sessions. So in Part 2, what I showed you, I would consider an arrangement session. So that's where I'm sitting there kind of cutting all the sounds up that I made and messing around with them. And in Part 1, I would consider that a sound design session. So it's where I'm not really editing music and trying to write music. I'm actually just making sounds which will later be used for music. So I think both of these things are kind of important. You know, on a day where you're not feeling so inspired to actually write music, you can still do sound design, I find, quite easily. And honestly, sometimes the sound design inspires you, or inspires me at least, to write more music. So so that's one of the first things I wanted to talk about. The second thing I wanted to talk about is a toolbox, and my toolbox is basically like I treat it like say I'm a mechanic and I have a bunch of tools and I have them all in my toolbox, and basically these are just a bunch of sounds that I've collected and made. So for instance, the live stream basses are in here, a bunch of massive patches I made in here. Here's some other sound design I made. Sounds like this. There's just some more sounds, like some nice like watery basses and stuff. Just a bunch of like field recordings that I did in the past, and some cat purrs and just random stuff. So it's just a bunch of random stuff. All these R&B acapellas I downloaded from the internet, some stuff Virtual Riot gave me, some kicks and snares that I made, and organized drum sets is like drums from previous tunes that I've written. So like for instance, basically the idea here is that I'm organizing everything. So when I'm starting a tune, I have a go-to place where all of my drums, all of my sounds, everything that I need to get started, like all the tools that I need to get started to make a track are all just here, with a bunch of just interesting sounds. And there are a lot of like unique sounds, and I basically found them, and if at any point I decided that is like a really, really cool sample pack, or that is a really cool sound, or I really enjoy this sound that I made, or something like that, but it's not useful to me right now, but I know it's definitely going to be at some point, then I put it in this pack, and then I save this pack in places in my live browser, and then that's it. It's there. I also sync this to Dropbox, so it's perfectly synced between my laptop and my PC and any computer. Basically, like let's say worst case scenario, I lose all my computers or something like that. I still have this toolbox uploaded to Dropbox so I can get it back. So the example I want to give you here is, again, this is a final example. Sorry, just to wrap that up, I guess that was like the point of this video was just, get a toolbox going, do sound design sessions versus arrangement sessions, and then, edit the audio to make the music, and also like make patches in your music as well. Like this sub here is just an operator patch. Like obviously some things are just, you can leave in synths, but I like to use everything in audio because you can just manipulate things so much further, and I find I can just so much more easily articulate everything with fades and like volume changes and stuff like that. So that's kind of the point that I'm trying to make here. So the third project file, by the way, you can download all three of these project files through splice.com, which is why it's a collaborative series with them. And then the final thing I'm just going to show you again. This is a bunch of basses that I made. Again, I use these live stream basses in this pack, which is, I think this pack, by the time you see this, will be available through ToneDen hopefully, or it will be soon after. But if not, a bunch of these basses will be in the project files here. So if you go to like the actual project folder, and then you go into samples. Well, actually, I guess you're going to have this pack anyway, the resampling pack. So you should have all these sounds if you want to use them in your own tunes. So I'll just leave you with this. This is a final example of how I've arranged them in a track called Schnapple Slap, which is off my latest album, Settling for Mediocrity. And hopefully you enjoyed the tips, and if you make anything cool out of them, send them to me and I'll have a listen. Cheers.
Check out the